More polls than in a Warsaw bar this week. What do we make of this? Where do we begin?
You know, I think that what these polls tell us is this is going to be a competitive race. You know, you've got maybe a wider span than you'd hope with a series of pretty reliable, respectable media polls there. But I don't think either candidate has a lock on this. I think it's going to be a close contest, and the idea that this is cooked for Barack Obama, which is what some people now argue, or for Mitt Romney, which for a few people argue at this point, I think that's not the case. I think we're going to have months in which this campaign and what happens to this economy is really going to matter.
Scott, let's dig into the numbers a little bit. What did you pick something out that you thought was interesting in any of these polls?
Well, I just want to say I agree that what happens with the economy. I mean, I think this election is going to be determined by events. You know, I mean, at this point in the game, it's like trying to predict who's going to win the World Series in October. There's just so much that's going to happen between now and then. I think the gender gap is interesting. I mean, clearly, both sides have been completely focused on women over the last couple weeks. I think Romney has closed it just a little bit. So maybe they actually, with all the silliness that's been going on, that actually, you know, did something to help him.
The silliness with Ann Romney and working mothers. Jeff, what do you pick out of these polls?
I thought one of the interesting things about the New York TimesCBS poll this week was just the amount of economic uncertainty in people's individual lives. 4 out of 10 parents say that they have changed the choices of where they're sending their kids to college. 2/3 of people say that high gas prices have caused them financial hardship. So this is one of the reasons that, despite the fact that people really don't know Mitt Romney, yet 1/3 of people say they're not sure about their opinion on him. This is why he's even or a little bit ahead or a little bit behind, whatever, this incumbent president, because people are feeling economic uncertainty. So we talk a lot about the women, you know, sort of these specific issues, but one number in our poll I thought was fascinating. Even among women, only 6% say that they will make their vote because of women's issues, if you will. This is about the economy, so we get all wrapped up in issues of contraception. This election is not about that. It's not about that.
And Mitt Romney does very well on the questions of the economy. And
he does. I mean, half the voters just say, I mean, it's about even, but a little more, actually. A few more say that they have more confidence in him in terms of running the economy than President Obama, which I guess is to be expected because, I mean, he doesn't own this, you know, and President Obama owns it.
Right. Susan, as we look at Mitt Romney and his challenges going forward, the Republicans seem to be moving behind him, though, and he's the nominee. They don't like Barack Obama. Is that the way you see it? He's kind of consolidating Republicans?
Remember all the speculation we all engaged in about how divided the Republicans were and how bitter this primary battle was? Well, I guess you can never mind that.
Yeah,
because the Gallup poll and other polls showed 9 out of 10 Republicans supporting Mitt Romney. Whatever they think of Mitt Romney, they know what they think of Barack Obama. That is a huge uniting force for the Republicans. I think the idea that Republicans are going to be divided is just a non-story.
Right. You agree with that, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to the phenomenon that we saw in 2008 with a lot of suggestions that maybe the Hillary Clinton's voters wouldn't completely line up behind Barack Obama, and that really, we turned that tide pretty quickly back then, too. It's the same sort of dynamic this time around, I think.
What do you think about the enthusiasm, though? I mean, like, yes, they may vote for Mitt Romney, but we spent some time in Ohio this week talking to some of these male voters who are also important. I mean, are they enthusiastic for Romney, or what are you guys finding?
I actually think that both parties, both candidates have a problem with enthusiasm, because Republicans are not that enthused about Romney, but Obama has an enthusiasm problem too, especially with the unreliable voters who elected him last time, like young people. You know, that's a group of people who are disappointed with the economy. They've been hit hard in terms of going to college, getting a job when they get out of college, in terms of like the feeling, can they get their life started in this economy? So I think that the enthusiasm gap or the enthusiasm question is something that both sides are worried about.
And I think we all know from covering Republican events that Republicans are very enthusiastic about making sure Barack Obama doesn't get a second term. That's really where the enthusiasm is.
Well, what do you think? I mean, Jeff, when we're in the fall, don't you expect, though, that we'll see these Obama rallies that we all learned about in 2008 with just thousands and thousands of people? Do you ever expect to see such a thing with Mitt Romney?
I don't think we will, but I think that we didn't see them with John McCain either, but I don't think it's the same thing. I think that now people have had sort of a 5 years to see Barack Obama in action. And it doesn't matter if they come to the rallies or not. I mean, it does in terms of organizing. I mean, we cannot, sort of diminish these, we're going to see big Obama rallies, but people, like to come see the sitting president, so that's not that unusual. But, so no, I don't expect huge Mitt Romney rallies. I really don't. But perhaps if they called it an anti-Obama rally and Mitt Romney happened to show up and advertise, they'd get more people. But that's not really the important part here. I mean, if they vote, that's fine.
I would have to also say that 2008 was the 8th campaign I'd covered, 8th presidential campaign, and I had never seen rallies like that before. That was really a phenomenon. And I know that that Barack Obama has passionate support among the core of the Democratic Party, but I wonder if even he will be able to command those kind of audiences this time
That's
around.
probably true. But one thing some people say in Chicago is don't overlook the fact that there are still first-time voters out there. There are kids who are like, who were too young to vote 4 years ago, who still may like Obama. So they're really going after those first-time voters. It's still an interesting, a big proportion of what the Obama campaign hopes to get.